It's Week 7 of the National Football League, and the spotlight is on Justin Herbert. He's coming off a nice week throwing the ball. 4 touchdown throws. It's the Chargers and the Chiefs, and it's coming up next.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL has us in a very rainy Kansas City, Missouri at venerable Arrowhead Stadium. Today we've got a matchup here in pivotal Week 7 as it'll be the LA Chargers taking on the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our 2 quarterbacks, certainly 2 of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
Getting toward the halfway point of the NFL season, Week 7 is underway on EA Sports. From his end zone, here's Darius Davis. And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. So the Charger offense making its way out, and at the controls is the league's second leading passer a year ago. At 25 years of age, out of Oregon, it's Justin Herbert.
After seeing what he did last week, throwing 4 touchdown passes, I had to go to my thesaurus to try and come up with some great words for what he did. I'm still coming up blank. He was scintillating.
I'm going simple. I don't have your thesaurus. I'm going dynamite. He was dynamite.
I'll take it.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. This defense for the Chiefs, they were terrific last week in the victory over Kansas City.
Yeah, we're definitely in top form and pitched a shutout, as a matter of fact. That's the cherry on top of a great week of preparation. And you know what? These guys are eager to keep it going. Some motivation this week, not an issue.
5 yards, now it's 3rd and 5.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent game.
Third play here, this opening drive as they're up against a 3rd and 5. Now Herbert with it, looking to pass. And the Chiefs are going to get him. Trent McDuffie in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year.
And they're picking up right where they left off with the shutout that they pitched last week. A huge part of that, this pass rush. They know how to get after people.
Offensively, good luck finding some answers right now. On is the punter Scott here as he gets this one away. James now to return. A pretty good punt there, but also a nice return of 12 yards. And the Chiefs will have excellent field position here as they take over. So here come the defending champs, led out by the reigning MVP of the National Football League, a 2-time winner now in Patrick Mahomes.
And I thought it was a really nice performance last week by him. 3 touchdown passes. I think that signifies exactly what he was getting done. He did have the 1 interception.
But that's the ratio you say you're okay with, right?
If you go 3-to-1, you're going to be pretty happy over the course of a season. And let's face it, he'll never blame the receiver publicly. But behind closed doors, he's probably told his agent, hey, what's the deal? I should have had a perfect game.
And a good job of finding the open space to run as he's down close to the 30 here. It'll be a pickup of 16 and a Chiefs first down.
Well, there's plenty of real estate for him to maneuver on that run, and let's face it, it shouldn't be a surprise. He's one of the better backs in the league. Had to come into this game with the idea, slow him down, otherwise it's going to be a long afternoon.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. Well, Charles, something we talked about last week, when you start believing whether you're in the midst of a special season or not. Well, now they're at 6-0. Are you still trying to tamp down the expectations in that locker room?
Well, to me, it's less about tamping down expectations and much more.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Kansas City. Kadarius Toney, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Chiefs are on the board first here this afternoon. Week after week, Charles, when we see this offense operate, I don't know, they just seem to get more impressive.
They certainly do, and let's face it, it's no surprise they're the best in the NFL in scoring. This team designs things well and executes even better. And here, it only takes a few snaps before they're in the end zone. That's how they demoralize teams. That's how they put them on notice.
The point after through the raindrops, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And Davis content just to bring this out to the 25-yard line. The Chargers get set to go here for their second drive. 3-2, their record through the first 5 games of the year as they got the victory last week. It's still early, just October, but what have you seen from these guys so far?
Well, what I've seen is a team that's still figuring out all their pieces because they've got some new faces from a year ago. Add in some new draft picks. Sometimes it takes a month or so before you really start to gel as a team and for those players to figure out their roles. But right now, I see them starting to elevate.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Herbert will give this one to Eckler. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. Once more, here's Eckler. And he'll be taken down here as it will take us to the end of the first quarter.
Holding offense.
Rashawn Slater, 1st-round pick in 2021, guilty there. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Charger football to start quarter number 2 as they've got it facing a 2nd and long situation. Now it's Herbert. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete.
But there's an incompletion, partner, and the struggles through the air continue because so far their lack of passing production has led to a lack of points.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. On the screen, this is Eckler. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. That'll bring up 4th down. They wind up getting 8 yards, but they needed more than that.
And that's a play that's not uncommon on 3rd and long because the offense is just hoping that somehow they can get a guy in space and follow some blockers downfield. Does a pretty nice job there getting a few yards, but he ends up getting stopped before he can get the 1st down.
Here's James returning. A very good return there. Give him an even 20 yards. And it's Chiefs football. 1st and 10. Kansas City taking the field for their second drive. They've got the 7-0 lead. Now they've got the football back after their defense got the stop, CD. And you get the feeling if they could score here, they'd really have all the momentum on their side.
And you just wonder right now, is the quarterback and the play caller totally in sync? Are they of one mind that, hey, what worked last time, let's keep doing it until they stop us? Or do they go to a different section in the playbook, show them something different? Either way, they want a repeat of their first drive.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. A give right side for Pacheco. It's a pretty strong running there as he'll take this across the 50 and down to the 44. Nice play for Kansas City, picking up the first 18 yards that time. Two minutes on the clock, second quarter, 7-0 ball game. Mahomes now on 1st down. And his throw is going to be incomplete.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got second and third down to fall back on.
Back to the air on second down. It's Mahomes. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And he's got it. Touchdown, Chiefs. Kadarius Toney with his second touchdown of the game, fourth of the year. And the Chiefs go up by 2 touchdowns. Boy, Charles, this offense is just so explosive. They lead the league in scoring, and another example of just how good they are right there on that play.
Yeah, we often overstate about how explosive teams are, but this team is truly a threat to score on every snap, especially on the first few plays of any series. And a big strike like that only adds to their reputation as the league's best offense.
Extra point by Butker is on target, and it's now 14-0. A drive there of just 4 plays. And it's Kadarius Toney who caps things with a touchdown reception. Here's the Chiefs kickoff unit now as they'll send this one away. And Davis content just to bring this out to the 25-yard line. And the Chargers coming out on the field now. And this not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road. How do you get the mojo back?
Well, one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness, maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
And he's able to get this one up to his 30 before he's out of bounds. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. Here's Herbert. Got a man, it's complete, it's Palmer. And he is going to have the Chargers first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. And it appears we have a Charger shaken up on that last play. We'll step aside and get an update when we return to KC. On 1st and 10, Herbert. On the throw, led him too much that time. It's incomplete.
The coverage keyed in on him since that last completion his way. He earned a little more attention on that route, and that made it a lot tougher to get a clean throw his way.
Herbert throwing again. Open man is Palmer. That'll leave him with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there. Out of the gun, Herbert. And that is incomplete.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. The Chiefs going to go back on offense here late in this first half as they take over with exactly 1 minute to go here before intermission. Throwing on first down is Mahomes. Looking downfield for Kelsey. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's second down.
That's some good closing speed there defensively because that looked open for a minute. But that's great work with the ball in the air. Never gave up, converged on his man, and broke the play up.
And the Chargers rush is going to get there. Down he goes. Now the Chargers will use the second of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38. 59 yards rushing for him now on just his first 3 carries. The Chiefs will use the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Looking to throw is Mahomes. And that'll be caught by Tony. And he gets us to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20. Talk about a big first half. Already has the 2 touchdowns, adding to his receiving total there, picking up the first down.
He's coming off the line so fast. I think he's intimidating the defensive backs with his explosiveness, and he's chipping away at their confidence.
Looking for more there on first down, but this throw downfield incomplete.
Zone coverage there, and they were playing deep. That makes it obviously a little bit harder to run by guys. And that time, there was not much of a window to get the ball in there, and it winds up incomplete.
To throw, it's Mahomes. And he's going to be sacked. They sack him back right at the midfield stripe. Now another timeout called for by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Going to need better protection here. 3rd and long following the sack for Mahomes and company. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And now he'll fire deep downfield for James. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
They decided the opportunity was there and launched a deep ball, but he was unable to get away from the defender, couldn't create space, couldn't uncover at the end of the route, and that one winds up incomplete.
Mahomes and the offense staying out there. They'll go for it on 4th. Mahomes throwing on 4th. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. A surprising move to go for it predictably, at least somewhat predictably. It doesn't pay off, and this defense will take over right at midfield. Herbert on first down now. And he wisely will throw that one away.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
Another throw on 2nd down, and this one incomplete as well.
Well, incompletions on 1st and 2nd down, it certainly seems like a reflection of what we've seen so far in this game. The defense, quicker to the punch so far. Let's see if they can get something going here on 3rd down.
He's going to loft one deep left side here. And it's going to be knocked away and incomplete. So we've come upon halftime here in KC with the Chiefs on top. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. A lot to get to here as some of the division races starting to take shape as we look around the NFL here in week number 7. We'll get started out in Denver, and they are seconds away from halftime, all tied in that one. From there, we head over to the Pacific Northwest, check on the Seahawks at home in Seattle. And this one going the visitors' way as the Cardinals have the lead in that one. Marquise Brown, a touchdown reception. Lastly, let's get to the Windy City, see what's happening with the Bears at home at Soldier Field. And things didn't go so well as it was the visiting Raiders who come in and grab the victory. Jimmy Garoppolo, a very good performance as his guys run their record now to 5-2. Both these teams getting a chance to dry out, maybe change their cleats if need be, but halftime's just about over. Time to get back to it. And for the call of the second half, here's Brandon Gaud.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. Fine work as always as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. So here are the Chiefs to take over. Their win streak at 6 coming in and counting as they've got the lead right now beginning this drive 1st and 10. They'll start by running the option to the right. And he probably should have given that one off as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line. It was Joey Bosa working his way in to bust that one up. A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. Mahomes now to throw. That's complete. It's Travis Kelce. It'll go as a gain of 25 on a play that started back at the 25.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the 3rd quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
Mahomes now on 1st down. Yeah, we're into the hands of Tony downfield. And he'll be taken down here just shy of the 30. It's a 1st down, his 4th catch of the game after having 3 in the 1st half. He's certainly been a huge factor in this one. He's got the 2 touchdowns to his credit. Now they look to him again. He picks up the 1st.
Yeah, I can hear everyone saying, well, why don't you cover him, double him, triple him, do what you have to do. But sometimes they get locked into such a groove and such a connection, it doesn't matter how many guys are in his area.
He certainly looks to be in that groove right now. And a strong run there as he'll maneuver his way down inside the 15. 76 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
I think we're seeing the effect that runs like that are starting to have on this game. They're a little bit slower, that front 7 reacting to the football, almost like body blows in boxing, slowing them down, and they're really starting to take over in this game.
Operating from the red zone now, Mahomes. His throw incomplete.
That certainly appeared to be a play call where they were just trying to make 2nd down, 2nd and short. I think they thought the coverage was off a little bit more than it was. Nice job there pressing up on it and forcing the incompletion.
Now Mahomes throwing on 2nd down. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
He'll definitely say that that's one he should have held on to. But when you're playing in elements like this, sometimes those bullet passes, those ones with a little bit of pace on them, they can be difficult to hold on to.
Throwing is Mahomes on 3rd. And he'll go down. Brought down at the 20-yard line. Say hello to Eric Kendricks. He gets the sack there. They've been moving the ball well offensively, really getting into a groove. Last play, pass completion. Now, finally, the defense gets there.
And you have to find a way to disrupt their rhythm. Do you do it with coverage or do you do it with pressure? They elected to go with pressure, and it was the right call.
Mahomes going to go on 4th down. And in for the Chiefs touchdown. Travis Kelce, a 20-yard touchdown. And the Chiefs take the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. Extra point by Butker is on target, and it's now 21-0. And they won't be able to run another play. Time has expired on this 3rd quarter. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. We're back now in KC, where the 4th quarter will begin with a kickoff following the score on the final play of the 3rd quarter. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And Davis content just to bring this out to the 25-yard line. The offense for Los Angeles returns to the field. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage, because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games.
Try to get it to Williams, but it's intercepted. And the return here is stopped at the 35-yard line. And that pretty much has been the storyline, Charles. This defense, they seem to be one step ahead from the start of the game until now.
And you identified it perfectly, and we can see the frustration that's settling in now. And it's probably been there for a long time, but now it's evident because you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their body language, maybe even a little bit in that play call that ended up maybe closing them out.
As the offense reemerges, there's wide receiver Kadarius Toney leading him out. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this, but it's usually not by himself, is it? Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now I could be in that huddle with that offensive line, and I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call a timeout. Run the football. We've got control of this thing. Get him behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine.
110 yards rushing for him so far as this terrific season continues here.
Hate to be blunt, but it is just continuing to prove to be the case that this O-line is manhandling this D-line right now.
They deserve to roll up their sleeves and show up their biceps because they're doing exactly what you just described, manhandling the defensive front. They've got the leverage. They are powering.
And that is caught for the touchdown, Kansas City. Marquez Valdez-Scantling there to make the grab.
And the Chiefs add on to their lead, and it's looking like that win streak is going to extend another week.
Well, business as usual for them. Well on their way to another victory. Riding a serious wave of momentum from what we've seen. And so far, they haven't met their match. So if you're going to play this team in the future, your mission is clear. You better be ready to play and match their firepower.
Extra point by Butker is on target, and it is 28-0. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive, and it's capped off with a Kansas City touchdown. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away.
And Davis content just to bring this out to the 25-yard line.
And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles.
Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while, but everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Charger football as we welcome you back from the 2-minute warning. Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Herbert. And he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here. Another pass attempt, another incompletion. You figure defensively, you're in the fourth quarter here. You've held the team under 100 yards passing. You've done your job.
Especially in today's NFL, which is truly a pass-first league.
Well, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. They snap it to Herbert. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the Chiefs will have the football back in excellent field position. So they tried to go for it for pride, but it really wouldn't have mattered. This one, it was already determined.
No doubt about it. This one was over a while ago.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. They run it with Pacheco from the gun. A big run there, 29 yards and a first. They just look like they're having fun out there. Big lead. There's another big play on the big run. I mean, they can't be stopped.
I'm a little bit older than you, as you well know, partner, and you tend to tell me that all the time. But it used to be a big-time song, and the lyric was, "Summertime and the living is easy." Right now, it's football time, and the running is easy for this crew.
They'll run here with Pacheco, and he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Sometimes offenses can get too cute down near the goal line, but there's nothing fancy about this one. As Coach Lombardi would say, we get a seal here, and we get a seal here, and we run this play in the alley. And that's good work to hit the hole hard and finish in the end zone.
Butker on for the PAT. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. They had the short field, and they made quick work of it. Just 2 plays to get into the end zone. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And Davis content just to bring this out to the 25-yard line. And the LA offense ready for this next possession. At this point, partner, things looking pretty bleak. They still haven't scored here in the 4th quarter, facing the big deficit. What silver linings, what can they look to do here offensively?
You know, it's funny, I talked about this with a coach in the offseason and kind of had this scenario, like what feels good to you and what feels good to your team. You're down big. You really have like 1 possession left, and you're trying to put points on the board that don't matter. But do they? And he told me they actually do matter. And in this situation, he's going to try and run the best offense he can run to have at least a little bit of confidence to take away from that game. So right now, they're going to try their best to get something up on the board and not get shut out.
Herbert wants to throw it on 3rd and 1. And that one complete to his receiver, Palmer. And he is going to have the Chargers first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Offense for them has been at a premium. You wonder where plays like that have been all game long.
They're thinking the exact same thing themselves, but they're also looking forward now because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going.
Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down. One last throw here for Herbert. And that will be incomplete as time has run out on this football game. So this one in the win column for Kansas City. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one. And that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that,
I should have served the other one, but he right back for another one. Quarter on a quarter, how you double up right off the bus. Soon as he touch down, run the money up. One-on-one. Water, a little vinegar mix, it's tough enough to take another. Still plenty room, you get money with my run, been nothing but a stunner. I done up a bunch of them. This what got them ducking me. They don't come out the house like a punishment. The ones they jumping me. 4 or 5 years and they work is numbing me. Too forever. She won't rushing me. Ask anybody what's up with me. Rolling but off. Been up a week, why could never out hustle me? They was older, broker than the younger me. Back then they couldn't with me. I ain't never punched no card or made no money off no. They focus you on live. The net and what you post on it don't mean to a real. All it takes for you don't get your way and now you feel different. All it takes for you that paper. feel different. All it take, don't talk you for a day, and now you feel different. All it take for you to catch a case, and now you feel different. I swear I don't feel. Make me feel different. I swear I don't feel. Never feel different. Established. Better bow her head when I walk past her. Where your manners? As a kid, stay with my granny, daddy went to jail for. Lost my only chance being happy. Damn, what happened? Outcome match my actions. Talk and I back it. Great example. I'm the standard. Come to preaching what you practice. Actually, I can't fathom. I rationalize and move past it. He determined this from his section. Island Daily, well respected, well connected. Look that, tell me God gon' let us into heaven with you. Focus, you won't live. The net and what you post on it.
It's Madden NFL 24 on EA Sports. And up next, we'll get a look at Patrick Mahomes. He's coming off a nice week throwing the ball. 4 touchdown throws. It's the Chiefs and the Broncos, and it's all up next.
We find ourselves at the foot of the Rockies, Denver, Colorado, for this edition of the NFL on EA Sports. Today we've got a Week 8 matchup on tap here, as it'll be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Denver Broncos. And hello again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And, Charles, we look at this Bronco team. They come in losers of 2 straight, so they're trying to right the ship here a little bit.
They're teetering a little bit, aren't they? And now things could really go south if they lose this game, so they understand the importance of playing well and stopping this streak.
Meanwhile, for the visitors here, the Chiefs, they can't be any better as we hit the halfway mark. A perfect 7-0 on the year.
And when we looked at this team in August and we looked at the schedule, we thought they had the potential to get off to a hot start, but I don't think either of us expected 7-0.
And off we go from Denver. And no run back here, so they'll bring it out to the 25. Well, the Broncos offense gets set to go to work, and at the helm in his second season wearing orange and blue, Russell Wilson.
And there was a positive in last week's loss. No interceptions thrown by him. But he only threw 1 touchdown pass, and you know he wants that to improve. He might even consider that as part of the reason that they couldn't take the win last time out. I believe we'll see a more aggressive version of him this week whenever they're nearing the end zone.
Now they're going to get about 3 here out of this first down run, and that'll bring up 2nd and 7. You talk about this Chiefs defense. They were excellent last week in the win over the Chargers.
Yeah, they pitched a shutout in that game, didn't they? And those don't come around all that often in the NFL, the ability to keep someone out of the end.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Anytime you sack Russell Wilson, that's a win for the defense. But to get him here on his opening drive of the ball game, that's a really big win for that defense.
And the goal every week, keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get to the perimeter, because when he's in the open field, not only can he hurt you, but also you lose sight of receiver.
And the pressure gets to him again. Trent McDuffie, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year.
It always helps for a visiting team to come in and set the tone on defense. In fact, when we talked with them prior to the game, they said they wanted this home crowd to feel like they had to hide their valuables when they were in town.
Well, the home crowd quiet now early. See if their offense can take over and get some points on the board. James now to return it. And just a net of 31 here, 40-yard punt, 9 on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Chiefs offense now ready to go to work for the first time, led by Patrick Mahomes, the 2018 NFL Most Valuable Player.
Brandon, it's always nice when you get recognized with an individual award. And he was the AFC Offensive Player of the Week last week. But when you do it in a win, so much the better.
Absolutely. And he was all talking about that win, not so much the award he received on Wednesday.
That's a nice-looking award. I wonder if he took it home, got out of the car, showed it off to the kids in the neighborhood, passed it around. I wonder what he did with it.
They run with a second-year man, Isaiah Pacheco. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Stuck for a loss by the linebacker, Josie Jewell.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
Shotgun snap to Mahomes. And this throw incomplete. And the defender all over him that time, but it's going to lead to 3rd down.
So this game, Charles, you know, we talk about potential unbeaten seasons a lot. It feels like every year at some point in the season we talk about that. But this is one of those games where if you're unbeaten, you got to be careful. You can't take this one too lightly.
You're exactly right about that. And by rights, this should be a cakewalk.
There he goes, right side.
Now inside the 25.
And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown.
Kadarius Toney.
His 5th touchdown now on the year.
And the Chiefs will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon.
Both sides of the football in sync early. You force the 3 and out, and then you take it down, score points.
You know what that tells me? They sold their game plan really well. Head coach said, listen, we're just going to stop them on 3 and out. We're going to take the ball downfield and score. But he also told them how it was going to happen. They're going to run this. We're going to stuff it. Then we're going to take the ball. They won't be able to keep up with us. And they got it done.
Harrison Butker is on for the extra point. And his kick is good to make it 7-0 KC. Scoring summary, 3-play drive.
And it's Kadarius Toney who caps things with a touchdown reception. And Smith chooses not to return it, and they'll bring it out to the 25.
So now the second drive offensively coming up for the Denver Broncos.
And they come in losers of 2 straight. And remember, they've got the open date on their calendar next weekend, but you think it's vitally important, Charles, that they focus on the task at hand here?
Absolutely, because these players, they know what's coming up, and the difference between taking time off following a win versus doing so on a 3-game losing streak, that's absolutely huge, because they may come back if they lose this game to a facility, and there may be new faces in there and some teammates lost. Well, that turned out better than most of the passes he could have thrown on that snap. The coverage downfield was excellent, but the containment close to home left him a backdoor escape, and they paid dearly for not locking up.
He had to fight that time. Ran through 1 tackle, but ultimately he's only going to get back to the line of scrimmage. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. Second quarter about to begin from Denver. It's the Broncos in possession of the football as they've got it with a 2nd and 10. Wilson. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. No, bottled up fumble. It's out. It's loose. And it's picked up by the Chiefs. And they'll set up shop in enemy territory at the 45-yard line. Always costly to cough up that football. These defenders, they become so adept, though, at jarring it free.
Yeah, it's amazing that there aren't more fumbles caused, because now, if you're an offensive player, you go through ball security drills every single day. It's really not out of line to think you should take the ball to bed with you and just hold on to it. But the bottom line is, no matter how much you try to protect it, these guys are pretty good at finding ways to knock it out.
On 1st and 10, here's Pacheco.
And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. That's going to go as a loss of a full 8 yards. It sets him back for 2nd down.
You know when I could tell this was going to end really badly? When he launched himself behind the line and made a beeline for the ball carrier. You get one of those tackling machines in the middle on your trail, things are normally ending pretty quickly.
Mahomes' throw taken in by Valdez-Scantling.
23 yards the pickup there. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. and you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
A man who re-signed with the Chiefs back in May. Here's Jerick McKinnon. And he did not want to go down there as he carries tacklers for a solid gain of 9.
You know what really fires up offensive linemen? When the guy that is carrying the ball behind them can create his own space and break a tackle along the way.
Mahomes to throw on 2nd down. Touchdown! Isaiah Pacheco. A 22-yard touchdown grab. And the Chiefs have taken a 2-touchdown lead now. Well, forget about the weapons out wide. He knows he's got another weapon in the backfield in the passing game, Charles, and he utilized him perfectly on that play.
And the offense coordinator showed me something on that play, Brandon, because so often during a game, our cameras find them looking down at their play sheets, and you wonder if they're absorbing anything. He had something specific in mind, and he went to it, and it worked well.
Butker now to add the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. So that drive, 4 plays. And it winds up with the Chiefs hitting pay dirt. Here's the Chiefs kickoff unit now as they'll send this one away. And the mile-high air in full effect as that's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a 1st down now. Now Wilson. Being chased down. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. Here's a throw to his running back. It's complete. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. From the shotgun, Wilson. He's got a man. It's Sutton. That's complete. Then he gets us to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. A big gain of 31 on 3rd down.
And that might be exactly what they needed to wake up this home crowd. They haven't given them much to cheer for so far, and never underestimate the effect the home crowd with you can have on a game.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. Throwing is Wilson. And his throw here's incomplete. Well, the incompletion, yes, but maybe here not the worst thing in the world?
No, not on 1st and 10. It actually gives them a chance to regroup, relax just a little bit. They huddle up, talk it over. Then they get a chance to continue their drive.
A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
The touch and timing are critical for those types of throws. He put a lot of zip on that one. Needed just a little bit more finesse trying to get it to his back.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. They go play action now. Wilson. And he's taken down. A Chiefs sack. Taken down for the 5th time this game. Multiple defenders there to get him. But, Charles, this has been something to watch so far. This is where you really feel for a quarterback. He's been running for his life in this 1st half.
Brandon, that's 5 sacks already, so you know he's got to be saying, can we get some more guys in here to block, please? Because if we don't, we're going to need another quarterback.
So we come upon halftime with our score 14-0. As we send you on out to our studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman at REA Sports Halftime Report.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Hi again, everybody. Let's get you caught up with what's going on around the league here in the unofficial midway point, Week 8 of the NFL season. We'll start up in the Pacific Northwest at Lumen Field in Seattle. And that's been a back-and-forth game, all tied in the second quarter. From there, we head over to the West Coast to check out the Niners at home at Levi Stadium. And they've got the lead in their ball game over the visiting Cincinnati Bengals. Brock Purdy has thrown a touchdown pass. Finally, let's get to the desert to check on the Cardinals at home in Glendale. And they trail the visiting Ravens in that one at halftime. Nelson Aguilar, a touchdown catch in that first half. These two teams making their final adjustments before coming out for the second half. And for the call, we go back out to Denver and rejoin Brandon and Charles.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. A 2-touchdown game, 14-0 to score as we get rolling again here in this second half. Here's Richie James on the return. Now a crease here as he's past the 30. And he nearly broke that for more, but as it is, still a good return. They'll start the drive right around the 37. So here are the Chiefs to take over. They've got the lead right now, and remember, they are riding that very impressive 7-game winning streak, trying to push it to 8. Throwing on first down is Mahomes. And that's caught inside the 30. It's nearly a 40-yard gain on the opening play of the quarter.
There's no doubt in my mind that not many guys in this league have had the impact that he's had here in the first half of the season. He's been a big play guy from the word go and continues to be one with another one right there.
Mahomes now on first down. That'll be caught. It's Tony. He's been a one-man wrecking crew these last couple of plays. This time 18 more and a first down. Headed straight, it's Pacheco. And he's brought down right at the 5-yard line. Give him 2 on the play.
You know, when this offense gets down here near the end zone, they're going to turn to their bell cow, and this guy's been a touchdown machine all year. Excellent job stopping him there on first down.
Now they'll send a tight end in motion left. Once more, it's Pacheco. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 9. They lost 4 there, and it's third down.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and he's got it. Touchdown, Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Chiefs take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his second touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. Extra point by Butker is on target, and that makes the score 21-0. Here's the Chiefs kickoff unit now as they'll send this one away. And Smith not going to bring it out, so it's a touchback. So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. So 1st and 10 here for Wilson and the Broncos at their 25-yard line. Here's Williams to start the drive. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and it'll be second and very short. They'll stay on the ground with Williams. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. Officially, it will go as a 1-yard loss, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we've played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. The Broncos on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. Throw to the right, caught by Dulcich. And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40. First target, first catch, and a 1st down. From the gun, it's Wilson. And the Chiefs are going to get him. And the offense moving quickly to the line. On 2nd down, Wilson. Dancing to his left. And he works his way past the line of scrimmage and then slides to a halt. We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a 1st down. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
This has been a rough one, to put it mildly, for him. And after this one's done, you just feel like at the post-game press conference, this team's going to have a lot of questions and definitely not a lot of answers.
Here we go. It's Wilson on 4th down. And he's brought down. Can't do anything with a football. It's a sack and a turnover on downs. The Broncos unable to convert here on 4th. And the Chiefs will have the football back in excellent field position. Well, at this stage of the game in the 2nd half, down 3 scores, I guess they felt like they needed to push.
And let's face it, with this deficit, if they give up another score here after they didn't get it, does it really matter?
Right.
It really doesn't. They had to go and try and make something happen if they had any chance of winning this game.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Pacheco gets it up the gut. And he'll be taken down after a short gain as that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. So the Chiefs in possession of the ball as we welcome you back. Ball on the 30 now. Here's 2nd and 9. Here's Pacheco headed right. He'll get it to the 23-yard line. Call it an 8-yard gain. Much better shape now on 3rd and just a yard.
That's a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
A gain of 8 on the keeper and a 1st down.
And this is one of those plays that if you can use it to keep the chains moving, it's a good play. And not only that, it tends to tamp down the pass rushers because they have to recognize this play and stay at home. The quarterback uses it well. Read option, keeps it, and picks up a 1st down with some nice running.
And he's going to get it inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. A good run there on 1st down, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 2. Well, they'll take that every time with a lead. 1st down, 4th quarter, getting 8 yards. You love that.
They will take it, and you have to ask the defensive guys, why did you give it? I mean, you know the situation. You're down.
And he's going to bowl his way into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco with touchdown number 3 here in this game, and 17 now on the year. And the Chiefs add on to their lead, and it's looking like that win streak is going to extend another week. Butker on for the PAT. It's good, and they stretch their lead to 28-0 now. 5 plays there on that drive. And in the end, it's capped off by a 7-yard run. Here's the Chiefs kickoff unit now as they'll send this one away. And Smith chooses not to return it, and they'll bring it out to the 25. And Denver getting set to take the field. And just looking ahead, it would appear that that bye week is coming at the right time. They'll have 2 weeks to chew on this one, though probably not one that they want to chew on. A poor performance from start to finish. Throwing now, Wilson on first down. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense, they're just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them.
Pressure comes, and Wilson's going to go down.
And the officials here going to pause the game for a second. Looks like there's an injured Chief on the field.
We'll step aside and get a report when we come back to Denver.
It's 3rd and long now for Wilson and the Broncos after that sack.
Operating from the gun, Wilson. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
Now on 4th down here, that pass knocked away and incomplete. So they've gone for it twice now on 4th down in this game, and both times unsuccessful.
I wish we could hear the headsets now between the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Now that they're 0 for 2, if they get into a 3rd situation, head coach might say, hey, you got anything for this one? Might get radio silence back.
A handoff now for Pacheco.
And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage.
Randy Gregory, former Cowboy, there on the tackle.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10.
Again, it's Pacheco.
And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
So the rushing touchdowns continue to stack up, CD. That now 15 for him on the year.
And give him a ton of credit for staying healthy, being a smart runner, and it's showing just how important he's been to his team. He's got to be their MVP at this point in the season, and those votes may even turn into league MVP votes when it's all said and done.
Extra point by Butker is on target.
And that makes this 35-0 now.
Broncos nothing.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away.
And Smith not going to bring it out, so it's a touchback. The football going back over to the Denver Broncos. And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the 4th quarter. This would be their 3rd straight defeat.
Now Wilson on first down.
And oh, that nearly their first pick of the game, but it falls down to the ground incomplete.
This one winding toward a conclusion, and how would you assess how the secondary is played?
Well, we just saw them take another shot downfield that was incomplete, correct?
Correct.
So my assessment is that...
And he's taken down, a Chiefs sack. That winds up pushing him back 11 yards on the sack. And that'll bring up 3rd. So this one in the win column for Kansas City. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one. And that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there fresh playing, off a little extra spring in your step, and it showed up in this one.
They had a ton of spring.
Back in my ways, missing my girl, I ain't seen her in days. What can I say? I'm out in the baby, trying to get paid. Look what I made. Thousands of people are knowing this Jay. I never change. Can put myself back in that minimum wage. Gotta keep all in this crunch time. Eating these rappers is lunchtime. You the man only sometimes. End your career with a punchline. The industry told me it's the front lines. You never mind. Getting money in my bloodline. Talking on me, mine. Keep with a rip. Don't want to talk if it ain't about the dip. Made a name for me real quick. Ain't gon' stop till my net worth millions. Going school, I drop down. They try to read when I drive with the top down. Get me on stage, I rock out. Every day money can't break, no timeouts. Change up quick, they sign up. Tryna hit my line now. Thinking I'll come find out. 1v1, you dust like a wideout. Studio been my hideout. Can't shed tears, mama, ain't no cry now. On me, gonna blind out. Get in the team, gotta pass your tryouts. Booming this like Metro, groupies on me, that's fine, don't sweat those. Been on, keeping my head strong. My dog ain't talk about Petco. Brand new ones, they retros. Live fast, die on, stand my headstone. Stop been grown. You ain't get money, been frank in the friend zone. I ain't never switched up on the family. Be talking to that at me. Gotta watch my wrist, that's classy. I'm a dog to a she nasty. Then about she me. My mama proud she had me. Can't let nobody surpass me. I moved to the back like an athlete. Got a little buzz, but these zippers don't chance me. Just take a look at my rap sheet. Independent, man, these can't stand me. Won't stop till I got me a Grammy, a crib with a leg and a whip for my granny. I ain't never had me no plan B. Look at me now, got a problem, get at me.
It's week 9 of the National Football League, and our focus is on Kadarius Toney. It was a nice line for him a week ago, reaching the century mark and scoring a touchdown. It's the Chiefs and the Dolphins, and it comes your way next.
From one of the loudest venues in the National Football League, you get a look there at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium here in Kansas City. Today, it's a Week 9 matchup. We are all set to go as it'll be the Miami Dolphins taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Hello again, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, we look at this Chiefs ball club. They're halfway home, looking good at a perfect 8-0.
And not much to complain about so far, is there? I'd have to say they're the best team in the NFL through the first half of the year.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Dolphins, they, too, were winners last time out, so something's got to give here.
And I love it when both teams come in off of wins. Great mindsets, and it usually leads to a really well-played game.
The first 2 months of the regular season down. What will the final 2 bring us as we're off in Week 9? And he can't field it cleanly. It's loose. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Time to see what Patrick Mahomes can do here with his first possession. The quarterback out at Texas Tech getting set to lead this KC Chiefs offense.
And he ought to have a lot of pep in his step after last week's performance because he did exactly as you want him to play if you're a coach. 3 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, which usually means you're making a lot of right decisions out there.
And got him the win. Here's Pacheco to begin the drive. 16 yards right off the bat and a first down. Well, there you go. This offense off to a strong start this afternoon.
Yeah, with a big run and a first down. That's putting what you practice into play. That's excellent execution to get things started.
From all the way up at the 38 now after a good start to the drive. Mahomes going to throw. That's complete. It's Travis Kelce. Big strides. Look at him go. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. Travis Kelce. He has career touchdown number 78, tying in with both Eddie George and Frank Gifford on the all-time list. And the Chiefs go down the field in just 2 plays to take the early lead. Harrison Butker is on for the extra point. And his kick is good to make it 7-0 KC. The long touchdown pass gets him 6 on a very, very tidy 2-play drive that time. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And this will be a touchback. Berrios deciding not to bring it out. Now Tua Tagovailoa gets set to lead this Dolphins offense for the first time.
And you and I both know that any win is a good win, and that's what they did last week. But there's also plenty for him to work on in his game, wasn't there?
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, an interception. Yeah, you know, he wants to increase that a little bit in terms of ratio. But first and foremost, they did win the game.
Tagovailoa and the Dolphins come up 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete. You talk about this Chiefs defense. They were terrific last week in the win over Denver.
When I look back at the stats from last week's game, I thought it was a typo. That was a misprint. It's one thing to hold someone under 100 yards in a game. That's phenomenal. Under 50? Absolutely exceptional.
First carry of the game for the Aggie alum, Devon Achane. And he's upended at the 33 following a good pickup of 8. This defense for the Chiefs, they were terrific last week in the victory over Kansas City.
And when I was reviewing the stats from last week's game, I actually had to put them down and come back to them later because what I read at first, I thought it was a typo or a misprint. One thing to hold someone over 100 yards in a game, that's incredible. Under 50? Absolutely exceptional. That was their first 3rd down try of the game, and clearly something was off in the execution of that play. Good news, they've got a whole game left to clean that up and start clicking on those key 3rd down throws.
Jake Bailey on now to punt here on 4th down. Waiting on it will be Richie James. Fielded just inside the 30. A nice return that time of about 14 yards. And they will take over 1st and 10. Kansas City taking the field for their 2nd drive. And they come into this one riding that nice long win streak. And remember, next weekend is an open week for them. So if they can get the win here, a lot of momentum into that time off.
It certainly is. And if you're wondering if anybody's saying, boy, this is coming at a bad time, we want to keep playing, the answer can be yes. Because when teams are on a hot streak, they want to keep going. But what the veterans are telling the young guys in the locker room, an open week is always good, guys. Take it and let's go with it.
Mahomes now on 1st down. And his throw is incomplete. So, Charles, you look at this offense, and really on paper, at least a great situation for them upcoming. They're unbeaten on the year, an open week coming up after this. So I guess my question, any worry that maybe this is coming at the wrong time?
Oh, definitely I would be worried about this game, maybe more than any other on this schedule, because I know my guys are looking ahead to that open week. I've got to keep them focused on the task ahead, make sure they take care of business in this one. Otherwise, you're talking about a double trap. The trap of losing the game and then having the open week and having to stew about it.
Throwing is Mahomes on 3rd. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
He's 2nd in the NFL in interceptions, and you understand why. He plays a game of great intelligence, understands positioning, and has a great ability to break on the football when it's in the air.
So fun to watch his closing speed, and another example of it on that play. The 3 straight incompletions, they don't care. That hasn't dissuaded them. They're going to go for it on 4th. They'll try and throw for it here. He's got his man, Valdez-Scantling. Now inside the 25. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. Marquez Valdez-Scantling with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Chiefs' decision to go for it pays off with 6 points. Not even 2 minutes into this football game, already we've had 2 scores.
You know how much I like to read about teams of old, right? The teams of yesteryear. There were some teams that were known as the point-a-minute teams. Well, obviously in a 60-minute game, that's 60-plus points. But 2 touchdowns in the first 2 minutes? My calculator doesn't operate that well.
And now on the other side, they better wake up. They haven't even gotten off the bus yet. Extra point by Butker is on target, and that'll make the score 14-0. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will be a touchback. Berrios deciding not to bring it out. So Miami coming out for their second drive. 3-5 is where they sit on the year. A very uneven start. Is certainly not an ideal position to be in at the halfway point of the season. CD, do you see an avenue where they can still be a playoff team, or is that ship sailed?
Well, since you took me to the nautical side, I'm going to try and keep up here because to me, this ship is about ready to pull out of port. These next couple of games are absolute must-wins for them. Now, if they can win a couple, get to 5-5, maybe they start believing in themselves. But a loss here, that would move them to 3-6. And if that's the case, well, that boat is going to head out to the harbor with them still on the dock.
And he's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32.
That was a really nice run there to bring up 3rd and short. After the incompletion on 1st down, it's awfully nice to have a running back that you can hand it to and put you back in a good situation.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
That looks like it's going to be 2 empty possessions now to start this football game. I think they're going to have to sit down and talk about what worked for them last week in their win. Sometimes you over-game plan, overthink things, get back to what works.
And the punter Bailey on now as he sends this one away. On the return, it's James. So a good punt there, but a very strong 14-yard return. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. So here are the Chiefs to take over. They've gone 2 months without a loss, 8 straight wins for them. And they've got the lead here in this one as well, trying to make it 9 in a row. The Chiefs in good position to start out as they come up 1st and 10 at their 38. To throw, it's Mahomes. Open man here, it's the tight end Kelsey. Look at the big man rumble. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. Travis Kelsey, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Chiefs are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Boy, still in the first quarter, and look out. I mean, they are on pace for over 80 points in this game. I don't know that they'll get there, CD, but this has been impressive to watch so far.
That certainly would be history in the making, wouldn't it, partner? I'm glad we're here to actually watch and see if it actually happens, although, like you, I have my doubts, but they are firmly in control of this game.
Extra point by Butker is on target, and it's now 21-0. Those are the kind of drives they like on offense, from the coordinator to the quarterback, the line, everybody. 1-play drive and into the end zone for 6. So how about this for a start? 21-0 here in the first as they kick this one away. And he won't quite make it to the 25. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. Now they have the game here followed by the open date on their calendar next weekend. And Charles, this is a crew that you have to think really is relishing the opportunity to be on the couch for a few days.
Yeah, they certainly are, but let's face it, partner. They can't get caught looking ahead to that couch time while they're playing this one. They've got to take care of business first.
It's Dolphins football here as we begin the second quarter, as they are looking at a 2nd and 5 situation. A give up the middle to H.A. He works his way forward for a couple up past the 30. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
Tagovailoa going to try and throw on 3rd down. And the Chiefs are going to get him. Chris Jones make that now 8 sacks for him on the season. And keep your eye on that man. 4 sacks last week, 1 there here in the second quarter. He can be so disruptive.
So what was he doing in the first quarter? What was going on?
Took a nap.
I think he tried to lull him to sleep a little bit. Like, yeah, okay, maybe you've got me this week. No longer. And you know, with the 4 sacks last week, it's obvious he gets his in flurries.
Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman, both larger than life.
No doubt about it.
But you're stuck with me in this booth,
yes,
and he's miles away and smiling.
And happy.
This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down. Now the Georgia Southern man. This is Jerick McKinnon. And this winds up a gain of 4 to the 41.
And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up.
We'll step aside and get an update when we return to Arrowhead. The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Mahomes now to throw.
That's complete to Tony.
He's still on his feet. And in for the Chiefs touchdown. Kadarius Toney, 41 yards. And the Chiefs are able to add on to their first half lead.
That score that they just gave up there, that's a tough one for their defense to swallow, because they've had a tough time through the first 2 quarters. They really were determined to get a stop there. Unable to do so, that makes their comeback hopes that much more difficult.
Butker now to add the extra point. It's good, and they stretch their lead to 28-0 now. Just a 4-play drive that time.
And it's Kadarius Toney who caps things with a touchdown reception. And this will be a touchback. Berrios deciding not to bring it out. The Dolphins taking over now late in this first half. And with the score where it is, even though I think they'd love to get back to the locker room, they may be forced to try and get something out of this drive.
Tua now on 1st down. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone. Following the incomplete pass, here they go again. 2nd and 10 from the 25. Tua sets up to pass it.
And the pressure gets there, and Tua is going to be taken down.
That winds up pushing him back 11 yards on the sack. And that'll bring up 3rd.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw a better pass rush than that one right there. Nowhere to go outside. He had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
Not wanting to risk another sack, they'll play it safe with a run. And he is going to lose yardage here. So we've come upon halftime here in Arrowhead with the Chiefs on top. As we'll send you down to Orlando and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, all right, Brandon, thank you very much. Hi again, everyone. Let's get you caught up with what's going on around.
Past the halfway point of the season and now past the halfway point of this game. We skip halftime and get right back to the action. Set to begin the third quarter. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. The Dolphins down on the scoreboard, but they'll have it first as we get going in this third quarter. And this will be a touchback. Berrios deciding not to bring it out. The Dolphins getting set to go back to work here in quarter number 3. We'll see, Charles, if they had a chance to hit the reset button at halftime. They have not scored. They're facing this big deficit. And if they're going to come back, it's going to have to start right now.
Yeah, and for them, it's not dwelling in the negative because, yes, they were totally ineffective in the first half. But we've seen many games that have flipped around in the second half. It all starts with this drive right here. They get something good going, put some points on the board, they begin to have hope.
Third quarter begins with a run from A-Chain. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
Right back to A-Chain on second down. A Miami first down, that one going for a gain of 11. That one definitely helps as they try to push the ball down the field here, trailing early in the third quarter.
And even though they're trailing, not abandoning the running game. People may call it an adjustment. I think it's just much more sticking to what works for you.
To a hit, and the ball is out. And it's picked up by the Chiefs. The big man, get the oxygen tank ready. And he has brought this one back. A fumble recovery for a Chiefs touchdown. And Charles, look at the big fella. What a rumble that was. Not only to scoop it, but then take it the rest of the way for the touchdown.
And now you know they're going to have to hear about it from now on. The defensive backs, he's going to want to run with them, do their drills, the whole deal. He thinks he's the pace setter now.
It doesn't matter what happens in practice this week. He's smiling. Butker on for the PAT. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way, the fumble return for a touchdown. So here's the kickoff now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And he'll be stopped up at the 25. Miami set to take over. Well, we're still in the third quarter, so there's some time to kind of clean this up and make it look more respectable. Now, a win, that's probably gone out the window, Charles, but I don't know. Do you look at this as a time to just improve and maybe start to look towards the future?
I think you have to find something to play for, something to grasp onto until the clock runs out. But, Brandon, we've been around this game a long time. This is an outlier. You don't get many blowouts like this no matter how the game looks on paper going in. This one has turned out to be everyone's worst nightmare realized.
Give him a gain of 5 on the completion, and it'll be second down.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
Going to the air, Tagovailoa. Got a man complete to Cedric Wilson. And he's dropped just before the line to gain. 4-yard pickup leaves him with 3rd and 1. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. They'll try and run here with Mostert. He's not going to get there. That won't even be close. It was blown up in the backfield. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th. Before they can get the punt away whistles as we've come to the end of the third quarter of action. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. We're back now in KC. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. That one sails out of bounds. The side judge will walk it off. And he says it went out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Nice punt. So well done there. And these punters, they get more specialized and better each and every year, don't they?
They sure do. And now it's really not the American punters. It's the Australian punters with their kicking academies and that flat drop and just kind of kicking the nose of the football. They're able to almost stop it where they want to, like a good golfer can check one up.
And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds.
40 yards rushing for him now in his first 2 carries of the ball game.
Brandon, I think you and I were both raised the same way in the game of football. You run to set up the pass, but I think we've discovered in this NFL, a lot of teams pass to set up the run. And that's what they've done throughout this game. They've aired it out, thrown it around the yard. Now they've come back to the running game, and they find a way to be successful with it.
On first down, they go back to Pacheco.
And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. That one good for 12 yards in a Kansas City first. I tell you, they didn't give it to him much for the first 3 quarters, but when they have, he's been efficient. Maybe they ride him more here down the stretch.
And I'm not sure it was actually in the game plan for him to have as few carries as he has, but it might play out really well for them now. As you noted, if they want to ride him down the stretch, he should have fresh legs.
Here's Pacheco once again.
And he's across midfield and into Miami territory. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Ball on the 47-yard line. Here's 2nd and a yard. On the handoff, it's Pacheco. And a pretty good burst right there as he'll take this down to the 33.
That goes for a Chiefs first down, 14 yards.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33.
And they'll run with Pacheco. And he'll get this just inside the 30-yard line.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. What's that, 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive. And like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it.
A run by Pacheco on 2nd down.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Another touchdown here in the fourth quarter. And, Charles, I think we can start to consider that this undefeated streak of theirs is going to be safe for another week.
And, partner, you don't make it this far into a season without a loss unless you're getting contributions from both sides of the ball and sometimes even your special teams. And that's been true today. Each side helping guide them to this late lead.
Butker now to add the extra point. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. A drive that time of 6 plays. And a pretty good run there in the end to top it off.
And this will be a touchback. Berrios deciding not to bring it out.
The Dolphins offense now ready to go back out onto the field. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here, but you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
And he's going to be out up around the 45-yard line. An ideal beginning of the drive there as they'll get 20 and a first down. Now Tua.
And they'll get this on the screen to Mostert.
And after the nice stiff arm, the next wave swarms in quickly for the stop. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means they have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Throwing again on second down, but this time it's incomplete. A misconnection there. He's hit on just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
I think this is what this game's become now. Just go deep, see if we can get something to go our way.
Yeah, not the most creative or most inventive play call there, but not much has worked for them throughout this game. They're almost at a loss about what to dial up.
Now on fourth down, on is the punt team sending this one away. And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Kansas City offense now as they get set to take over. And they just continue to roll right along, really. This has the looks of yet another victory as they hope to polish it off here in quarter number 4. Play clock down to 0, and this is not the way to start a drive.
So they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit.
Still first down.
So a little bit of a stiffer challenge now. 1st and 15 following the delay of game.
They run it with Pacheco from the gun.
Jerome Baker there on the tackle.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
Brings up 2nd and 14 at the 16-yard line.
So not just a blowout win for them today, Charles, but a shutout blowout win as well. Clearly just a superior effort on both sides of the ball.
Hey, didn't it feel like you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown, then the defense jumped up and said, hold it, we're getting involved as well. You're exactly right. Big points, both sides contributing, a full team win.
So for Kansas City, the train just keeps rolling 9-0 now to start this campaign. And they'll be able to enjoy this one through the bye week before they get back at it again. Meanwhile, for the Dolphins, their season is on life support somewhat now at 3-6. And they're going to get an extra week to
Run it back, 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 run it back. Lost everything I ever wanted it back. Got a problem, never run from that. Have fun with that. Get the W, then double back. That shit. Watch how I react. Fight back, stay down. Now we taking off. Got the flight. Promise you if anybody can hold me, I can. The right man, baby, I'm my own hype man. Yeah. Run it back, run it back, run it back, and run it back, run it, ooh, run it back, run it back, run it back, run it back. About to snap, take a photograph. Run it back, make it to the runs. Run it back when I to the right. I'll be back, make another van. Ultra fast. I ain't with the boulder dash. Run it back, face back with the shoulder pads.
Run it back, watch your back. You think I want it cream, but I like it black. Not about the act. And run it back, you see how I act. Nothing I lack. Feel it like a fatal heart attack. I'd die for that. I ain't stressed about it. I think less without it. I'ma cut out anything that's that's in my psyche. Feeling myself high-key, running back, let me have it back. I'ma cut out anything that's in my psyche. Feeling myself high-key.
Yes, like that, like that, like that. Solo might be right back, right back, right back. Oh yes, like that, like that, like that. I told him I'd be right back, right back, right back.
Run it back, run it back. Told him put the money in the bag, double that. Run it back, run it back. Told him put the money in the bag, double that, double that.
Run it back, run it back.
Run it, run it, run it back, run it back, run it, run it, run it back, run it back, run it, run it, run it back, run it back.
100 back, 100 stack in the trunk with his fire tag. Punch the gas, running to the future. Past, I'm done with that. But if I need you, then I'm coming back. Yeah, that's a fact.